Today's guest is someone whose work has touched millions, on screen and far beyond. I am so honored to welcome Pam Williams, an award-nominated producer, creative force, and the co-founder of Stand Up to Cancer, which has helped raise more than $795 million for cancer research worldwide. Pam has produced powerful films including Lee Daniels' The Butler and The Deliverance, working alongside incredible talent like Oprah Winfrey, Forrest Whitaker, George Clooney, Glenn Close, and Audra Day, just to name a few. But beyond her credits, Pam is a woman who has turned experience into wisdom and purpose into action. Today we're talking about family, career, reinvention, and what it really means to live a great life. Welcome, Pam, to Over 50 Shades of Great. I felt really disconnected, and I felt like I didn't have a community anymore. And I was like, what am I going to do in this next phase? And so I was like, if I'm feeling this, other people must be feeling this.
Absolutely.
And so that was really the impetus for it, to make myself feel not so alone.
Bring others around you.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was really great. And I think it was interesting because when you and I met for coffee that day, you had mentioned too, you're even asking yourself, okay, I'm doing this amazing work, but what do I want next?
Yep.
What is my next creative inspiration that I want? And I feel like just because you get older doesn't mean that drive gets less.
No, I think the drive is the same, if not more, because all of a sudden this infinite life that we have is much more finite as you hit 50 and 60. I'm 60.
Yeah.
So it really is, okay, if I'm doing this for the next 10 years, what do I really want to be doing? What do I want to spend my time on? So it's absolutely, I think, important, and absolutely important to have community, right? Especially female community going through any life period is really terrific. So thank you for doing this.
And you touch on that because that was one of the things, you and I met back in 2006 in the prep for Oscar. No, 2001.
Okay.
For the first Oscars.
First Oscar we did.
And that was the thing that struck me as the most interesting thing, meeting you and Laura Ziskin, is that you had a pretty female-centric team, and it was incredibly supportive, creative, and that was a rarity to see that. There was many a room that I would walk in and be the only woman walking into it.
Absolutely.
And you guys, it was the opposite.
Right.
Which was incredible.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about that union and sort of how that felt being a part of that.
Absolutely. And talking about being the only female in a room, that was the norm before I met Laura. And to be honest, I really didn't know that I was missing a mentor. And so that was, midway through my career when I met Laura, and fell instantly in love with her. She was such a warm, vivacious, amazing woman. And I went, oh, now I know who I want to be when I grow up, and that I needed a female mentor, somebody that I could really model myself after. And so her ability to lead was absolutely incredible because she made you want to be your best self, which I think is really remarkable and rare, and that there's no bad ideas. We all are here and have a voice, and to encourage that, but at the same time to also to rally people, then organize and lead people was one of her specialties. So I got to spend 12 amazing years with not only my mentor, but my best friend, my creative muse. I always talk about Laura being able to dream untethered. And she was remarkable. So I am distinctly different for having her in my life, for sure.
It's so incredible. Yeah, I mean, everything you said about her is the first minute I met her, I was like, oh, wow.
Yes.
She's got it all.
Yeah.
She was heartfelt, she was strong, she was creative, and she was empowering to people.
Yeah.
And it was really wonderful
Yeah.
to see. It was such a fun experience doing those 2 Oscars with you and your teams. You'd done a bit of live stuff before, I think. I think was Failsafe live?
Yes, Failsafe was live.
Failsafe was live. So you'd done live before.
Yes.
How would you say doing your first Oscars was different than all the movies that you guys and TV that you had produced?
Yeah, so
before?
Failsafe was the only live television I had done before. And doing the Oscars is so much different in that it's, well, I guess, Failsafe was a scripted live show. So it was scripted. So you
Right.
knew where everything was going.
Right.
On the Oscars,
You could time it perfectly.
You could time it perfectly. There was, but on the Oscars, there's so many unknowns. Yes, you can script the host. Yes, you can script. I leaned into and really led the pre-show.
Mhm.
So yes, you can know who you're going to interview. But during the pre-show, that is 2 hours plus of complete chaos. Complete and utter chaos. I can't even emphasize it enough. And actually, on our first Oscars, we had a catastrophic failure in the truck. So we didn't even know if we were going to be going live or not.
Oh,
Or
wow.
if we would have to piggyback
I think
onto
I
the
blocked that
ABC feed. So this was, yes, so that was happening while the floor inside was lit on fire
Yeah.
by who?
It was Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil. So you were dealing with a fire inside. I was dealing with
the literal fire.
The literal. I was dealing with a catastrophic failure. And I really looked at all of you people who do live TV all the time and went, why? Why? Never again. And so I actually said to Laura, like, can we because she wanted to do it again, right?
Yeah.
After that first experience, which was the longest Oscars for sure.
It's a good mantle to have.
Of the best Oscars as well. So many firsts happened in that Oscar, so it's
because it was Halle Berry won. Yeah.
Yes, Halle Berry, Denzel Washington. It was just amazing. And Laura was like, "Let's do it again."
Mhm.
I was like, "Could we do it every 5 years, maybe?" And so as Laura so we did it in 2001, 2006 for the next year Oscar. She wanted to do it again because those 5 years were coming up, but sadly she was failing, and we all knew it was near the end, and I don't think she was facing it, so she got pissed that she wasn't asked to do it again.
Well, she did one better. She then did a multi-network show, Stand Up to Cancer, because that was 2008?
2008, yes. That was our first one. And so, so that was also really incredible, where the Oscars, you're in a box, right? You have to give out X amount of awards. Yes, you can choose the host, which is not the easiest thing actually to get.
It's a tough gig. It's a tough gig.
It shocked me the first time. You have your short list of 10 that you think would be terrific.
Yeah.
And you end up somewhere near 20 or 30, it's real. And having people present at the Oscars is also really hard to book, which I was really shocked at. But yes, doing the Oscars was wonderful. Learning for ultimately Stand Up to Cancer and the show that we wanted to put together from scratch. So that definitely was more fun. I think also because it was for a cause that's, so near and dear to so many people's lives, and especially ours. So to be able to bring the thing I love, which is producing alongside a cause like Stand Up to Cancer, has really been a gift for me.
It is really incredible, like, to look at your career. You have kind of achieved it all. Right. Like, you've got an amazing family.
Yeah.
You have 2 kids that are doing really well. You guys seem to have an amazing relationship.
Absolutely.
Which is on its own an achievement. Forget everything else, right? But then you've also come up in the business when it wasn't a female, driven industry. And you've done incredible work, both with Laura and now with Lee Daniels, and also the Oscars and Stand Up to Cancer. So you've given back,
Yes.
you've given to the audience,
Yeah.
and you've also given to your family.
Yeah.
How did you pull all of that off?
I was going to say, again, a picture tells one story and a video kind of tells it all,
Yeah.
right? In terms of what comes before and after. And I so recognize how blessed I am in life to have an amazing family. Marriage, I think we're going on 40 years. You
Wow,
stop
that's
counting
incredible.
at a certain point.
Right.
We still really like each other. This weekend, I'm celebrating my birthday by going to the desert with just the family. We usually bring a bunch of people, but just us. And I am so looking forward to that time.
Yeah.
But again, I think on paper, everything looks great. But it's always a difficult journey.
Right.
It's difficult. Funnily, my first child was born with a heart defect. She had to have surgery right at birth. And this is talking about how, personal and professional often collide.
Yeah.
McKenna had to have a second surgery when she was 13, and it was scheduled in June of 2008. And so we were getting ready to launch stand up. We had survived when she was a baby, the surgery, so we knew it was going to go well.
Yeah.
But again, it was open heart surgery, so major. And she was scheduled in June, and we got a call that said the leading pediatric cardiac surgeon out of Germany, who instead of putting mechanical valves in, actually repairs the valve. He's the only one in the world doing it.
Wow.
And he has accepted McKenna as a patient. He will come to Cedars-Sinai and perform the operation on September 8th, which was the Stand Up to Cancer Day. Our very first broadcast landed on the day my daughter had open heart surgery. So talk about worlds colliding, and how do you do it all?
Oh, right.
Right? And so, again, having an amazing partner like Laura, I felt very comfortable stepping away and watching the show from our hotel room across the street from Cedars. And so, I mean,
Pam, I never knew that you went through that during that
Yes.
time period. Like, you never showed the level of stress that must have been, in your being at that time.
And I think a good producer compartmentalizes, right?
Yeah, totally.
And you focus on what you can do, not everything else.
Yeah.
And so, that was my personal and professional worlds colliding. And you deal with it and move on. And so, I mean, in terms of, and all of our careers are a roller coaster ride, right? I've been fired, I've been hired. You take the punches and you get, it's so trite to say, and you get right back up. But I think because I have a strong family life, I am able to have a strong career. My husband worked 9 to 5 and was very
What's
flexible. I know, exactly. He was in finance, then he was in research. But so his ability to work 9 to 5 allowed me to work whenever I needed to go on location and be away. And always wondered what impact that has on my children. But I think, from the very beginning when McKenna was born, I don't know if someone told me this, but I would, if I had to work till 11 or 12 and come home, I'd wake her up and we'd play for a while. And I guess someone probably said to me, you set the schedule for the kids. Don't let the kids set your schedule. And so there was this, you know what? I may not have been home for dinner or to put her to bed tonight, but I'm going to make sure I get special time with her tonight. And she'd get up and we'd have fun, and then we'd get back to bed. And so you find ways to make, things work for you.
How old were you when you had McKenna?
I was 30.
Yeah, it's interesting. So just now having Rumi this last year, which is incredible, that's what I've been wrestling with, of like, how do you not like pay attention to the moments as they're happening?
Yes.
And not skip over them, because I feel like as a producer and as a woman in the business, like that's sort of what you do, right? And then you have children, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to become somebody mostly different,
Right.
but still the same.
Exactly.
And so I've been really like, okay, take a breath,
Yes.
put the phone down, like focus on this moment, be
Yes.
100% in that moment. You may not be there every single moment, but make the ones count that you are.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
looking back, I can um, think about times where playing with Connor on the floor, I had to be doing something else at the same time.
Mhm.
And that's why it was really hard for me actually to work from home when my kids were at
Yeah.
home, because when you're home, they expect you to be with them.
Yeah.
And when you take a time to work from home versus from the office still needs you
Mhm.
24/7,
Mhm.
right? Kids need you 24/7, and that colliding was never easy for me. Um, but learning how to be present in a moment,
Mhm.
I think, is something I'm still learning to be.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
think it comes with maturity, to be able to have a child later on after you've really had a career, versus trying to do both at
Mhm.
launch a career and launch children at the same
Mhm.
time. So you're in a really fabulous place where
I think
so
so.
absolutely. And children are just the best. Again, it sounds trite, but that's my center,
Mhm.
even though I may not have been home the whole time,
Mhm.
even though my daughter, I can remember um we were at home. She was probably going off to college, starting to think about what she wanted to do. And we were probably talking about that. And she looked at me and said, "No offense, Mom, but I don't want to work as hard as you." And I was like, "That's fine. I just,
Good. You learned
exactly,
something.
exactly." And then my son, though, has followed me in producing. And
Oh,
he
that's
really,
awesome.
which is so awesome to be able to have such a rich connection, not just personal,
Yeah.
but professional now with
Mhm.
Connor, um, is amazing and super fun.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Um, was there a part of you when he first said that he wanted to do it that you were like, "Are you sure?"
What's interesting is he, so obviously he saw me working and knew what I did, but it was his nanny who actually encouraged him to pick up a camera and start filming things. And so
Oh.
he wanted to be a director and a filmmaker, which I know being a director is the hardest thing. I mean,
Mhm.
besides being an actor and
Mhm.
getting gigs, that
Mhm.
directing route is so difficult. So I think when he started to lean into producing, um, like I knew how to help him.
Mhm.
That I could definitely do. And I just think, again, I love my job so much
Mhm.
when it comes to producing. That for him to find that love as
Mhm.
well definitely encouraged it.
So what do you love about producing? And did you always know that you wanted to be a producer?
No, I didn't even know about the entertainment business growing up. I loved television. I watched a lot of it. That was our family time
Mm.
growing up. I
Mhm.
can remember sitting around, on the couches and watching TV. And I once had a friend over and watch TV with us, and she was blown away that we had family time together, right? Her family didn't have
Mhm.
family time together. And we definitely now have family time together with the television, and so I went to school to get a general degree because I wanted to be a lawyer, and I think I wanted to be a lawyer because I was the first to go to college in my family,
Yeah.
so there was always this need to achieve,
Yeah.
and I couldn't be a doctor because I don't like blood. I wish I had known more about research because I'm
Mhm.
so fascinated by the research we do at Stand Up to Cancer. I think
Mhm.
that might have held my interest and been interesting. And so lawyer was the other,
So like the natural.
natural profession. And
Yeah.
I always say I love to argue and I like to win. So that worked. And it was my senior year at UCLA, and I was a comms major, and there was a flyer about interns needed at NBC, and it paid a stipend. Most internships don't. And so I was like, okay, I'll, I'll apply.
Mhm.
And I learned that the NBC executive, basically his job was to watch TV, read a script, and give his opinion. And I was like, I know TV. I have opinions. That'd be great. And so I kind of fell into it,
That's so cool.
which was, again, that's the great thing about being that age, right? You can
Yeah.
fall into things you don't even
Yeah.
know you want. And so then my first job was at NBC in current programs. And I learned, in that job, I don't want to be the last stop before it airs. I want to go to where it's created, right? Just
Yep.
that interest in being creative. And so I went on a TV show called Day by Day, and as a writer's assistant, and learned I'm not a writer. And so like that spark wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I could have worked with the line producer and learned more the technical, the logistical side of producing. And I thought, but I like being creative. And so I kind of carved out a producing job for myself and kind of created. So I was working with Andy and Susan Borowitz, who created Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And so they had me as their development person. So I developed it with them. And then producing, writers are usually the showrunners. And yet they need to be in the writer's room writing while at the same time the show needs to progress, toward tape day. And so I really found like I could be their right arm in both kind of in the conduit between the writers and the production, where it was creative and at the same time the logistics of it all. So I think what I love about producing is bringing chaos into order. I was going to say it, and it's always chaos, but it's organized chaos, right? And so I really enjoy working with a big team. Producing is a team sport. And so I love having a team. I love reining in chaos, trying to figure out, how to do that on a daily basis with many different personalities. And every day is completely different. And so it's a circus. And so I enjoy being at the circus.
It's so interesting because that's how everything you said is how I feel about the business too. It's like you're coming together for a common goal. And it is like the circus because you're completely immersed with everybody. And then the second the project's over, everybody goes their separate ways.
Right. Exactly.
And then you're like, I miss everybody and I feel lonely. And it's like, what happened? Like, we don't talk every day now. And it's so funny that it just goes in this sort of like, and then splits apart. What would you say like now where you're at in your career and what you're working on now? Like, what is your not biggest challenge, but like what is the new lessons that you're learning now? Because I believe we continue to learn.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's not just like I've got this and I'm good. Like what is your sort of like you're on your horizon of what your big thing that you're focused on right now?
And so right now I'm an independent producer. So I was running Laura's television company when I worked with her. I ran Lee Daniels' television company for quite a few years while developing features at the same time. And ultimately I had to make the choice with Lee. Do I continue to develop or do I produce his films? Because you can't be developing a full TV slate while you're on the ground 24/7 making a movie. And so I chose the film route instead. I love television and I'm still developing TVs, but what I'm now doing is independent producing.
Mhm.
And so what I am learning is how to prioritize the things I really want to do. I
Mm.
still develop Lee's films. I do a few TV projects with him, but choosing what really makes me happy now that I have that. I work for myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm the one making the decisions, what needs to be done today, what needs to be done tomorrow, and really learning. And it's a daily um, challenge to really prioritize what I want to
Mhm.
see happen, because where you put your focus is where things will move forward most. And it's really hard as an independent producer. Producers don't make money when they develop, right?
Right.
You make money when something goes in front of the camera. And you can,
Right.
I'm probably developing right now 15 projects
Oh, wow.
from various different, from whether it's a stand-up project to a television project to features, and hoping one of them at
Mhm.
least moves forward into production, so I can do that. But that's probably what I actually the other day I thought, you know what, I need to write down what I'm spending my time on, right? So that you can actually stand back and not
Yeah.
be in the moment, but stand back and go, oh, I spent this many hours on this, but that's not really
Mhm.
what I want to make happen most,
Mhm.
right? Then I spent 0 on the thing I want to
That
have
you care the
happen
most
most.
about at the
So
time. Yeah.
that needs to be reprioritized.
Yeah.
But I'm someone who always wants to, when somebody needs something, to be like, yes, okay, I'll focus on that. And I need to prioritize my own priorities better.
Mhm. What's interesting, because now having worked with so many big players, it's you're like, I'm waiting for something from them to then make a decision to move on to the next thing. And then like, wait a minute. Oh no, I'm the one that's making all the decisions now. So
Yes.
what do I
Yes,
really want? Yeah.
exactly. Yes, which is a really fabulous place to be. So I'm not complaining.
No, it's
Um,
super exciting.
yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I feel like also too, like not to talk too much shop, but like the business is changing so
Oh
rapidly.
my goodness.
And I feel like it always is.
It always is.
Everybody thinks, oh
Yes.
no, it's now because of
Yes.
AI. But like when we did the Oscars, it was HD.
Yes,
Because right,
exactly.
because high definition,
Right.
everybody freaked out about
Yes.
how they looked on HD.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like there's always something changing,
Yes.
and I feel like there's a lot of great benefits right now to the
Hmm.
way the industry is, and there's also a lot of like
Yes.
challenges. Um, and you have to be sort of nimble and fluid with how you move
Yeah.
through those things.
And so working with actors, I don't really get nervous
Mm-hmm.
with actors. But again, the first time you meet them is always like, I sure hope I don't make a fool out of myself. You know, I'm not a great schmoozer, right?
Yeah.
That's just, I'm a producer. And a lot of producers are schmoozers, right?
Yeah.
That's probably how they get
Mm-hmm.
even further
That's their
than
superpower.
that's their superpower. It's not mine. And so I think recognizing, you know, I need to have a relationship with Oprah,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to be the person that schmoozes and is her best friend and goes out to dinner, and that's all
Mm-hmm.
good stuff, right? But yes, I get nervous, I get anxious, all those things.
It's funny. One of my director friends, he hasn't worked in a bit, and so he met with his agent. And his agent's like, "You just need to be at more parties." And he's just like,
Oh,
"I don't
that's
like the
devastating to
parties."
hear for someone like me. That's like, oh, please, yeah,
You're like,
uh, nope,
I don't know if
nope.
I'm good for
Can't I
this
just
job. Now, you're 60 now. Happy birthday.
62 on
62.
Monday?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What are your daily I have to do for myself? Like your non-negotiables for you to feel great.
I have to take a walk every day.
Yeah.
And because I'm not an exercise person,
Yeah.
never have been. But again, so like a walk, clear my head. I actually have gotten into the practice of doing devotions in the morning,
I love
which I
that.
had never done
Yeah.
before. I'm a very spiritual person. That's, I think, what my foundation is,
Mhm.
and why when there's big challenges like getting fired,
Mhm.
I hold on to my faith.
Mhm.
But prioritizing it
Mhm.
in the morning to
Mhm.
start a good day.
Mhm.
Hoda Kotb, um, it does a podcast,
Yeah.
and I think and has written books.
Mhm.
And one of her kind of advice is start the day saying today's going to be a great day.
Mhm.
And so, positivity begets
Mhm.
positivity. And this idea, so that's
And setting the expectation.
exactly. And so
Yeah.
which is new for me,
Yeah.
sitting down, having a little devotion, then saying, okay, this is going to be my day. It's going to be a great day.
Mhm.
And seeing because working alone as an independent producer, yes, I have people I work with on different projects, but really it's really isolating and lonely.
Mhm.
And, you know, I become depressed when I'm not really active.
Mhm.
And so being able to really set myself up for being in a good mood because
Yeah.
I
Yep.
hate when um when you feel like you're not getting
Yeah.
anywhere with anything.
Yeah.
So
It's frustrating.
it's very frustrating
Yeah.
being, an independent producer. So just setting my day up and then stepping away to do a walk just by myself, whether it's music, whether it's just, thinking time.
Mhm.
Those are the things I really am trying to be more purposeful doing.
Because it's amazing when you don't do them how you notice the difference,
Yes.
right, between your
Yes.
energy and your focus and sort of because it's like as you were saying, like as an independent producer, you're used to working on set with hundreds of people and being so collaborative and
Yeah.
so close.
Yep.
And then when you're in your development phase, you're solo.
Yes.
So it's like it's such a different
And I am not a solo beast. I
yeah,
like a team sport.
yeah,
So, you know, finding a way to just, be at peace on a daily basis um, is what I'm trying to do.
there's Andrew Huberman podcast. He's a scientist, but
Okay.
he just recently did a podcast about the fact that he's now started doing devotionals morning and night
Oh,
and that he was
really?
never a person that had
Right.
faith in his life. And he started doing it and he said that he's noticed the most difference in his anxiety level,
Yes.
in his focus and
Yes.
his calmness.
Yes.
And so he's like, it has changed
That's
my life
exactly
most.
why
And
I
I was
do,
like,
though, for
but I
those
was
three
like, that
things.
coming
Yes.
from a scientist was
Yes, it
fascinating.
really is,
Yeah.
especially, as someone who hasn't had faith in their life
Yes.
before
Yeah.
and learning that really does set you
Yep.
up for being calm and
Hmm.
at peace,
Hmm.
and all of that is great.
Yep. I have some final quick rapid fire
Okay,
questions.
let's see how I do.
What is something that you protect fiercely now?
My family time,
One thing you would no longer apologize for.
a strong opinion.
I love that. A word for this chapter of your life.
Oh, one word for this chapter. I'm going to say fun. That's what I
Love that.
want. I want fun.
I love that. I feel like we always have fun as we're going through it, but it's one of the things that I spend the least amount of time on. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like have fun when we're shooting and blah, 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 but I'm
exactly.
like just to
I
go and have
fun.
fun.
Absolutely. This is my fun decade.
What does success mean to you now?
I think being happy. And I know that I'm happy when I'm producing,
Yeah.
so those go hand in hand. But yeah, really prioritizing happiness and
Mhm.
fun and family.
Mhm.
Yes.
One thing you want women to know that it's not too late to do.
I think it's not too late to have other female friends. Do you know? Like we're in our circles, and like you said, you're in production, and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
you go having female friendships. I think and looking for them because I think others are looking for it too, and
Mhm.
it's weird making friends later in life,
Mhm.
right? Um, but I think everyone needs that bond, and so just doing it, asking a girl out for a date.
It's true because like I know for me, I was like, I feel like I don't have very many friends anymore. And then I would look around and assume that everybody already had their friend quota,
Yes. Yeah.
fulfilled.
And they
And
don't.
so then you don't want to be like,
Yeah.
hey,
Hey.
right. But I think other people are feeling the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's great.
So finding good female friends.
Well, Pam,
Yes.
you are absolutely living proof that there are a million shades of great.
Oh,
And I really, really, really appreciate you being here today. It was so
well,
fun to talk to you and just share
I
your
absolutely
journey.
love what you're doing. So much you to be able to create and have this idea and then to do it. I mean, that doing it, I'm just so proud of you.
Oh,
And so,
thank
so
you.
happy to be here and talk to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a wrap.